They say a single penny can't change your life. But what if I told you that one tiny coin-a-simple 1964D Lincoln cent could be worth more than your dream home, your dream car, and your dream retirement combined? Imagine holding in your hand a coin worth over $866,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's real. And in this video, I'll reveal why this ordinary-looking penny is shaking the coin-collecting world and how you might already have one sitting in your pocket, your junk drawer, or that old coffee can in the garage. Picture this. It's a quiet evening. You're going through an old box of coins left by your grandfather. You pull out a worn brown cent from 1964, flip it over, and there it is, tiny D beneath the date. You think nothing of it. After all, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that penny could buy you a lake house or wipe out your debt overnight? What if that coin could transform your life? This isn't just a story about metal and mint marks. It's a story about hidden value, forgotten history, and the rare moments when luck meets preparation. And trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal exactly what to look for, how collectors authenticate these coins, and why some people are quietly becoming millionaires thanks to this one overlooked cent dot. So, how did a 1964D Lincoln penny become one of the most sought-after coins in the United States? Let's travel back to the early 1960s. America was booming. John F. Kennedy had inspired a new generation. The economy was strong, and the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins every year to keep up with demand. But behind the scenes, something fascinating was happening. In 1964, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, most of them completely ordinary. But among them, a few pieces were created under mysterious and highly unusual circumstances. Some say these rare specimens were minted on planchettes meant for silver dimes or nickel compositions. Others believe a minting error caused the metal to take on a unique tone, weight, or finish. Whatever the reason, these rare 1964D Lincoln cents stand apart. A small miracle of minting and rarity. Now, here's the jaw-dropper, a verified 1964D Lincoln cent with the right combination of condition, die, variety, and mint era recently sold for over $866,000. Yes, $866,000 for a penny. Let that sink in for a moment. Pause and think about it. When was the last time you looked closely at your change? How many times have you tossed a penny aside, not realizing it could be your ticket to financial freedom? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people will never check. And that's exactly why stories like this sound unbelievable, until they happen to someone else. This particular 1964 D penny stands out because of its rare die variety and pristine condition. Coin experts call it a mint state condition, meaning it's virtually flawless, even under magnification. Combine that with an unusual die alignment or a double strike minting error, and you've got a coin worth more than its weight in gold. But before you go running to your coin jar, here's a crucial point. Not every 1964D penny is valuable. millions were made. But the key lies in the details, tiny imperfections, specific die characteristics, and a level of preservation so rare that only a handful of examples survive today. These are the unicorns of coin collecting. Think of it like this. Most people own the equivalent of a regular baseball card. But a few lucky ones have a rookie card signed by Babe Ruth and don't even know it. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. The coin market isn't static. It's alive. It fluctuates with collector demand, auction trends, and the economy. And right now, we're living in a golden age for rare coins. More collectors are entering the market than ever before. And wealthy investors are treating coins like fine art, diversifying portfolios with tangible history. That's why coins like the 1964 D Lincoln penny are exploding in value. In fact, coin auctions across the country are seeing record-breaking prices. Just last year, a bidder walked away with one of these pennies for a jaw-dropping $866,000, bidding private collectors and investment groups. And that was just one coin. Let's be honest, doesn't that make you want to check your pocket change right now? I'd bet at least a few of you are glancing at your nearest coin pile. Just in case. But here's what separates those who dream from those who discover. Serious collectors don't rely on luck, they rely on knowledge. They study mint marks, understand grading scales, and know which varieties are truly valuable. So, if you're serious about turning your old coins into wealth, pay attention to this next part. First, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade above 60 means mint state, the kind of near-perfect condition that makes collectors' hearts race. If your 1964D penny looks new, shiny, and uncirculated, you're already one step ahead. Second, look for minting anomalies, things like doubling of the date or letters, unusual coloration, or a coin that appears slightly thicker or thinner than normal. These can indicate a mint error, which dramatically increases value. And third, authentication is essential. Don't trust online rumors or amateur opinions. Have your coin professionally appraised by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC). They can verify authenticity, assign a grade, and encapsulate your coin in a tamper-proof case, instantly increasing its credibility and market value. Now, you might be wondering, why is there such obsession around pennies, of all things? Why not gold coins or silver dollars? The answer is emotional. Pennies are part of everyday life. They remind us of childhood piggy banks, pocket change, and simpler times. When something so common turns out to be incredibly rare, it captures our imagination. It feels like finding treasure in plain sight. And here's the kicker: these rare finds don't just change bank accounts, they change lives. There are documented cases of ordinary people stumbling across coins worth hundreds of thousands of dollars while cleaning out attics, sorting yard sale finds, or checking inherited coin collections. One lucky man in Colorado discovered a 1964D Lincoln penny that turned out to be one of these ultra-rare mint errors. He sold it for nearly $900,000 and retired early. Can you imagine that moment? The fear of missing out if you had tossed it away. The thrill of realizing your worthless penny was actually a fortune. That's not just excitement, that's life-changing. And here's where this story takes a powerful turn. Because what's happening with the 1964 D penny is part of a much bigger movement. Americans everywhere are rediscovering the value of tangible assets, real, physical items with historical and emotional weight. Coins, gold, collectibles, they're more than hobbies. They're vehicles of wealth, independence, and legacy. Think about it. A rare penny isn't just a coin, it's a conversation starter, piece of history, a symbol of patience and attention to detail. And those who take the time to understand its value often end up understanding something even greater. That wealth hides in plain sight for those willing to look closely. Let's inject a little humor here. How many times have you heard someone say, "It's just a penny"? Well, next time, maybe hand them a magnifying glass and say, "You sure about that?" But jokes aside, here's the urgent truth. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to find coins like this. Many are being snapped up by collectors or locked away in private vaults. Every year that passes, fewer uncirculated examples remain in circulation. If you ever wanted to uncover one of these treasures, the time is now. So here's your call to action. Go through your change jars, your old coin albums, and those dusty boxes in the attic. Look for any Lincoln cent dated 1964 with a small D beneath the year. Examine the coin carefully under good lighting. If it appears unusually sharp, shiny, or has a unique error feature, get it appraised. Because you never know, you might be sitting on a coin worth more than your house. And even if you don't find the jackpot penny, you'll gain something equally powerful: awareness. You'll start to see money not just as paper or metal, but as a story, a bridge between generations. Between the everyday and the extraordinary. Remember this: every wealthy collector started with curiosity. Every fortune begins with a single discovery. The question is, will you be the one who finds it? The next time you hold a penny, pause for a second. Look closer, because inside that coin lies the possibility of wealth, history, and the reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. And for those who take action, those who choose to search, learn, and preserve, you're not just collecting coins, you're collecting freedom. So, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's just now realizing that your pocket change might be worth a fortune, remember this moment. That tiny coin could change everything, because while most people spend their lives chasing wealth, a few discover it was sitting in their hands all along. So go ahead, check your pennies. Because somewhere out there, 1964 D Lincoln cent is waiting to turn an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. And who knows? The next coin that slips through your fingers could be worth $866,000. Don't let it be the one that got away. But before you check your coin jar, let me warn you, this story isn't just about luck. It's about discovery, mystery, and the power of knowing what others overlook. Because somewhere in America right now, Someone might be holding one of these life-changing pennies without even realizing it. It all started in 1973. The Vietnam War was winding down. The Watergate scandal was heating up, and inflation was quietly eroding the value of the US dollar. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln cents were being struck. Most of them were ordinary common copper coins that jingled in everyone's pockets. But a few, just a few, were different. They were minted with subtle errors, microscopic differences in detail, or unique chemical compositions that would, decades later, make them among the rarest and most sought-after coins in American history. Now, here's the wild part: many of these coins entered circulation. They weren't locked away in a vault or saved by collectors. They were spent on coffee, gum, or maybe a newspaper. Imagine one of those pennies could have passed through your hands, your parents' hands. Maybe even still sits in that dusty coin jar in your kitchen. If you're feeling a tingle of curiosity right now, that's not an accident. Because stories like this aren't just about coins, they're about the possibilities hiding in plain sight. So, what makes the 1973 D. Lincoln cent so valuable? Why would a penny be worth $860,000 or even more? Let's break it down. The Denver Mint produced over 3 billion Lincoln cents in 1973. Most made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But in a few extraordinary cases, minting errors occurred. Some coins were struck on leftover bronze planchettes from previous years. Others featured double dies, misaligned strikes, or even experimental metal compositions. These rare variations can make one ordinary-looking penny worth more than a Lamborghini. Collectors prize these coins because they represent accidents that shouldn't have existed, tiny imperfections that transformed into treasures. But here's the kicker. These coins are so subtle in their differences that most people never notice them. To the untrained eye, a 1973 D penny looks like every other one. But to an expert, one look under magnification can reveal history, rarity, and fortune. Now, let's pause for a second. Think about the last time you dumped your pocket change into a jar. Did you glance at the dates? Probably not. Most people don't. And that's exactly why coins like the 1973 D. Lincoln cent remain hidden in plain sight. You might be thinking, okay, but what does this really mean for me? Well, it means that in a world obsessed with new technology, digital money, and credit cards, the humble penny often tossed aside could still hold. The key to a life-changing discovery. Here's where things get even more interesting. In the collector's market, coin values aren't just about rarity, they're about condition and demand. A flawless 1973 D. Lincoln cent, graded in mint state condition by professional grading services, can command prices approaching $860,000 at auction. Some experts believe a perfect specimen could even cross the $1 million threshold if it surfaces. But here's what's driving the frenzy: scarcity and speculation. Every year, more people learn about these hidden gems, and the hunt intensifies. With coin values surging, Those who act early, who learn, search, and verify stand to gain the most. Still, you might be asking yourself, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? The answer is part history, part psychology. Coins tell stories. They carry moments of human error, government secrecy, and national identity. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying a piece of America's past. Preserved in copper and steel, and let's be honest, there's something thrilling about the idea that your next big break might be hiding in your kitchen drawer. That one overlooked coin could rewrite your financial future, but only if you know what to look for now. Here's a little pattern break for you. Imagine explaining to your spouse that the penny they almost used to scrape gum off the table is worth more than your entire house. You'd be sleeping on the couch, but in a very expensive house. The humor aside, the point is real. Opportunity doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes it's dull, brown, and smaller than a bottle cap. Let's dig deeper into the specifics. The 1973 D penny with exceptional value typically shows one or more defining features like a double die obverse, meaning the details of Lincoln's face or the lettering appears slightly doubled under magnification. Another rare trait could be a minting on the wrong metal composition, bronze instead of copper zinc, for instance. These anomalies are verified through metallurgical testing and certified by institutions like PCGs or NGC, the gold standards of coin grading. And if you find one that meets the criteria, you don't just sell it on eBay and hope for the best. You protect it, authenticate it, and present it to the right auction house places like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where serious collectors compete. That's where six-figure sales happen. But here's where the fear comes in, and it's justified. Every day, people unknowingly spend rare coins. They hand them over at vending machines or donate them to coin counters. Those mistakes cost people fortunes they never even knew they had. Don't let that be you. The difference between an ordinary penny and one worth $860,000 could be a single, overlooked detail, so here's the urgency. Start looking now. The value of rare coins fluctuates with market demand, metal prices, and collector interest. And right now, the vintage U.S. coin market is surging. As more investors turn to tangible assets, especially during times of economic uncertainty, rare coins are becoming a new class of alternative investment. But before you dive headfirst into your coin collection, there's one more twist to this story. Some experts believe there are still undiscovered varieties of the 1973 D penny minting errors so rare that their true value hasn't even been realized yet. Imagine being the person who finds the next one-third coin that rewrites price guides and makes headlines. It's happened before. It could happen again. Here's a little cliffhanger. What if I told you there's evidence that a few 1973 D pennies were struck on 1972? Proof: planchettes, essentially experimental blanks used for higher quality minting. That would make them nearly unique, potentially pushing their value well beyond $1 million. But very few have ever been confirmed, and experts are still searching. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The smallest coin, the most overlooked piece of currency, turning into a symbol of enormous wealth and possibility. That's the beauty of the Huntha idea that greatness can hide in the ordinary dot. Now, let's connect the dots. If you want to uncover whether your 1973D penny could be the one, here's what you do. First, handle it carefully, no polishing, no cleaning that can destroy its value. Second, inspect it under a magnifying glass or microscope. Look for doubling, mint mark irregularities, or unusual coloration. Third, check the weight. A standard 1973D copper penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. Anything significantly different might indicate a minting error or composition variation. Then, once you've spotted something suspiciously unique, contact a professional coin grading service. They'll authenticate and certify the coin, providing documentation that can turn curiosity into cash. And if it turns out to be a rare variant, that certificate could be your ticket to a life of financial freedom. Because here's the truth. Most people spend their lives chasing wealth through jobs, stocks, or risky investments. But sometimes wealth is sitting right under our noses, disguised as something so simple, so common. We never think to look twice. If you've ever dreamed of finding a hidden treasure, this is your chance. It doesn't take luck, it takes awareness. The right knowledge at the right moment can change everything. And maybe, just maybe, that 1 cent sitting in your drawer is your $1 million penny. So don't ignore that little pile of change. Don't underestimate what looks ordinary, because history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. And who knows? The next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth much, you might just smile, knowing that the one you're holding could buy you a mansion, a dream, and a future. Stay curious, stay observant, and never forget great fortune often hides in plain sight. The 1973D Lincoln cent isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that sometimes smallest things can change your life forever. And if you're ready to start your search, start today. Every day you wait, another coin might vanish into circulation forever. Because when opportunity knocks, it doesn't always sound like $1 million deal, might just sound like a single, humble penny hitting the counter. Your journey to wealth could begin with something you already have. All you need to do is look closer. That's the secret collectors have known for decades. The difference between those who dream of wealth and those who find it often comes down to awareness, patience, and timing. So go ahead, check your coins. You might not just find history, you might find your future, because in the end, the 1973D Lincoln cent isn't just a story about money. It's a story about discovery, about believing that extraordinary things can come from the most unexpected places. And that's a lesson worth more than any amount of gold or copper. Your fortune could be in your hands right now. Don't let it slip away. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes this penny so special, you'll also know exactly how to spot one, what to look for, and how an ordinary American coin can change your life forever. So, let's start at the beginning. In 1978, America was buzzing with change literally. Gas prices were rising, disco was booming, and in Philadelphia, millions of Lincoln cents were being pressed just as they had been for decades. The penny had Abraham Lincoln's familiar face on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, perfectly ordinary in every way or so it seemed. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1978 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, at the time, did not use a mint mark. Denver and San Francisco coins, however, proudly wore their tiny D or S marks beneath the date. So, a 1978 penny with no mint mark might seem completely normal until you realize that some of these ordinary pennies were anything but. Collectors began to notice subtle, almost imperceptible differences, minute variations in the way the coin was struck, the sharpness of Lincoln's features, or the texture of the copper surface. Some of these no mint mark coins displayed what appeared to be proof-like qualities, mirror finishes, razor-sharp details, and strikingly crisp edges. That shouldn't have happened in a standard production run. Here's the twist. Those coins weren't supposed to exist in circulation at all. Imagine the shock of someone discovering that a penny in their pocket change, something they could have spent on a gumball, was actually an ultra-rare variety that could pay off their mortgage. That's exactly what happened to a few lucky finders. One of the most famous examples surfaced in a small coin auction years later. Experts were puzzled. How did this coin, with no mint mark and a standard date, exhibit such pristine characteristics? Theories began to circulate. Perhaps it was struck from experimental dies. Perhaps a test strike escaped the mint. Or maybe it was a rare minting error caused by an unintentional use of a proof die in the Philadelphia presses. Whatever the reason, the result was extraordinary, a coin so rare that collectors were willing to bid six figures for it. Now, before we talk about the jaw-dropping value, let's take a quick reality check. Most 1978 pennies you'll find are worth 1 cent, maybe 2 if you're feeling optimistic. So, what separates the $1 million penny from the penny in your pocket? It all comes down to 3 critical details: condition, composition, and rarity. First, condition. Coin collectors, or numismatists, use a strict grading scale that ranges from poor to mint state. A perfect grade, Ms. 270, means the coin is flawless under magnification, no scratches, no blemishes, no handling marks. For a 1978 penny to reach that level of perfection after nearly 5 decades, that's like finding a snowflake that never melted. Second, composition. Most 1978 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinca heavy, rich mix that gives older cents their distinct reddish tone. But some rare transitional coins, believed to have been test strikes for later compositions, might differ slightly in metal content. Those anomalies, they can push values into the stratosphere. And third, rarity. Out of the more than 5 billion 1978 pennies produced, only a microscopic handful have surfaced with the characteristics that collectors crave: deep, proof-like luster, doubled eye details, or mysterious minting quirks that defy explanation. Now, let's talk about that famous sale in a private auction attended by top-tier collectors. One of these 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln cents sold for an unbelievable $853,000. That's right, over $800,000 for a 1-cent coin. The winning bidder reportedly said that this penny tells a story of American precision, imperfection, and luck. Think about that. A coin that could easily have slipped through your fingers. Decades ago could have paid for a soda or a phone call might now be the key to a fortune. Here's the kicker. These coins are still out there. Every year, new discoveries are made by ordinary people, someone cleaning out a drawer, sorting through inherited change, or checking a jar in the garage. Coins thought to be worthless suddenly turn into life-changing finds. And with every new discovery, demand skyrockets. But there's a catch. The coin market, like any investment field, rewards those who act fast and learn what to look for. Because for every collector who finds gold well, copper in this case, there are hundreds who overlook their chance simply because they didn't know. So, how do you make sure that doesn't happen to you? Start by examining your coins carefully. Look closely under good lighting. Check for mint marks or the lack of them. Inspect the surface for mirror-like reflections or doubled lettering, especially on Liberty and the date. If your 1978 penny seems unusually sharp, shiny, or different from the rest, it's time to get it appraised. And please, don't clean the coin. That's one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. A polished coin loses its value instantly. Collectors crave originality, the untouched surface that carries history in every scratch and tone. Now, I can almost hear you asking, but what are the odds of finding one? Well, let's put it this way. The odds of hitting the lottery might be worse, but the difference is you already own the ticket. It's sitting in your piggy bank, your change jar, or maybe even in that dusty box of coins your grandparents left behind. Still, before you go digging through your drawers, let's talk about why these discoveries matter so much. For many collectors, the 1978 no-mint mark penny represents more than just money. It's a symbol of possibility. It reminds us that hidden opportunities exist everywhere, even in the most ordinary corners of our lives. It speaks to the thrill of the chase, the idea that with knowledge, patience, and a bit of luck, anyone can uncover something extraordinary. And here's something to keep in mind. The value of these coins isn't static. As the collector market grows, prices keep climbing. The coin that sold for $853,000 this year might fetch over $1 million next time it hits the auction block. Why? Because rarity and history never go out of style. In fact, numismatic experts predict that rare U.S. pennies, especially transitional and mint-era varieties, will continue to surge in demand as younger generations enter the market. It's not just collecting, it's investing. A tangible, inflation-proof asset you can hold in your hand. But let's be honest, most people never even check. They assume their old change is worthless, while someone else quietly cashes in on the same type of coin. Don't be that person who looks back years from now and thinks, I could have had one. You don't have to be an expert to start. All you need is curiosity and the willingness to look a little closer. Imagine finding that rare penny. Imagine walking into an auction and watching bidders raise their paddles as the price climbs higher and higher. Imagine the moment you realize that something you once thought worthless is now the key to a new chapter of your life. That's the excitement. That's the dream. And it's not just a fantasy, it's happened before. And it will happen again. So tonight, when you get home, grab that old coffee can full of coins. Dump it out on the table. Take a deep breath. Because you never know, one of those little copper circles might. Just hold the power to rewrite your story. And even if you don't find the legendary $853,000 penny, the process of searching, learning, and discovering the hidden value in what others overlook, that alone brings you closer to the mindset of wealth. Wealth isn't just money. It's awareness. It's the ability to see potential where others see nothing. So, keep your eyes open. Because history has a funny way of hiding treasures in plain sight. And who knows? The next time someone asks you, what can you even buy with a penny these days? You might just smile and say, a house. If you found this story inspiring, take it as your sign to look again, to search deeper, and to never underestimate the power of what's right in front of you. Because the next millionaire coin might not be lost, might be waiting for you to find it. And that, my friend, is the true magic of the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. The truth is, not all pennies are created equal. Most of us grew up tossing them into jars, ignoring them on sidewalks, or using them for good luck. But in the world of coin collecting, that tiny copper piece could be the key to a wealthy, worry-free lifestyle. Imagine paying off your mortgage, buying your dream car, or finally taking that luxury vacation, all because of a coin that's probably hiding in plain sight. Our story begins in 2002. When millions of Lincoln pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint, each stamped with that small D mint mark just below the date. To most people, these coins looked identical, plain, ordinary, forgettable. But hidden among the masses, a few rare errors slipped through, coins unlike any others. These rare misprints and anomalies became legends in the numismatic world, hunted by collectors and investors who understood their potential to skyrocket in value. It's a little ironic, isn't it? The coin we overlook every day, the one that falls between couch cushions, might be worth more than your car. It's the ultimate underdog story, a symbol of how something seemingly worthless can turn into something priceless. And that's exactly what happened with one particular 2002 D penny discovered in pristine condition, with a rare minting error that made it nearly one of a kind. When it went to auction, seasoned collectors battled it out, driving the price higher and higher until the hammer finally dropped at an astounding $815,000. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, let's explore why this penny became so valuable. Coin experts use three main factors to determine worth: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity. Errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and planchette flaws are extremely rare in modern pennies. The 2002 error pennies that have surfaced show extraordinary minting mistakes, tiny details that can make the difference between a 1-cent coin and a fortune. Second condition. The grade of a coin determines its market value. The $815,000 penny was in near perfect mint state, untouched by circulation, preserved as if it had just left the mint yesterday. Imagine finding that kind of coin sitting in your change jar, its value hidden beneath years of dust. Third, demand. As collectors compete to own a piece of history, prices surge beyond reason. Wealthy investors see these coins not just as collectibles, but as financial assets, portable, tangible stores of value that can outperform traditional investments. And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge. Those who understand what to look for are already ahead. Every year, hundreds of people stumble upon valuable coins without realizing it. They spend them, give them away, or trade them in at the bank, never knowing they just lost a small fortune. So let me ask you, how many treasures have you unknowingly given away? The thought is a little terrifying, isn't it? That's the fear of missed opportunity. But here's the exciting part. There's still time. Many of these rare 2002 pennies are still in circulation today. They could be in your wallet, your dresser drawer, or even the coin tray of your car. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see an ordinary penny the same way again. When collectors first heard about the discovery of the $815,000 penny, the community went into a frenzy. Online forums lit up, auctions surged, and the hunt began. Coin shops saw a wave of hopeful visitors armed with magnifying glasses and Ziploc bags full of pennies. Everyone was asking the same question: could I have one too? The answer might surprise you. While not every 2002 penny is worth a fortune, several variations can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition and specific errors. The most sought-after ones show subtle signs: a double strike on Lincoln's profile, a misaligned mint mark, or a faint die clash on the reverse side where the Lincoln Memorial appears. These tiny imperfections are golden tickets for those who recognize them. Think about that for a moment. The same coin millions of people overlook daily could become your gateway to financial freedom. That's not just inspiring. You don't need Wall Street connections or a trust fund. You just need awareness, patience, and maybe a little luck. But before we get carried away with visions of beachfront homes and luxury cars, let's be real. Not every penny will make you rich overnight. The coin market rewards patience and precision. The key is learning how to spot and preserve value. Handling coins correctly, keeping them free from scratches and oils, and getting them graded by a reputable service like PCGs or NGC can multiply their worth instantly. One small detail could be the difference between a $5 coin and a $50,000 treasure. Here's a fun thought experiment. Picture yourself at a garage sale. You see a small box of old coins priced at $5. Most people walk past it without a second glance. But you stop. You sift through them and notice a 2002 penny that looks slightly off. You buy it, send it for grading, and 2 months later, it's confirmed to be a rare error worth hundreds of thousands. How's that for the best investment of your life? It sounds unbelievable, but stories like that happen every year. Of course, not everyone believes it until they see it. Some laugh it off, a penny worth millions. Yeah, right. But the market speaks for itself. Auctions have proven time and again that rarity plus demand equals incredible value. In a world where digital money dominates and inflation erodes savings, tangible assets like rare coins hold a timeless allure. They represent stability, history, and the possibility of wealth hidden in plain sight. So how can you start? Begin by examining every coin you come across. Look for mint marks, especially that small d, under the year 2002. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. Check for unusual textures, misaligned designs, or doubling on the letters and numbers. If something looks strange, don't dismiss it. Research it. Compare it with verified listings online. And if it seems promising, have it authenticated. And here's a little humor to keep things grounded. You catch yourself spending an hour squinting at pennies with a magnifier. Congratulations, you're officially a coin detective. But hey, when one coin could pay for your retirement, who's laughing now? There's also a deeper story here, one that resonates beyond the monetary value. The Lincoln penny itself is a symbol of perseverance. Abraham Lincoln, immortalized in copper, represents resilience and vision, the idea that greatness often comes from humble beginnings. In many ways, the 2002 penny embodies that same spirit. A small, overlooked object that carries the potential for extraordinary worth. It's a reminder that sometimes wealth hides in the most ordinary places, and that brings us to the bigger picture. The people who discover these coins aren't just lucky, they're attentive. They pay attention to details others ignore. They understand that opportunity rarely announces itself, it whispers. And those who listen, who look closer, are the ones who find it. The world rewards curiosity and courage. So ask yourself, are you paying attention? Now, imagine this. It's a quiet evening. You're sorting through some old change you've collected over the years. Suddenly, one penny catches your eye. The shine looks different. The markings seem off. Your heart races as you realize it's a 2002 You grab your magnifier. Check the details and see signs of an error. Could it be? You send it for grading, and weeks later, you get the call. Your coin is authentic, rare, and potentially worth hundreds of thousands. That's the moment your life changes forever. But don't wait for luck to knock on your door. Create it. Start looking, start learning, and start valuing the small things most people ignore. Because that's where the real treasures are found. The next great discovery isn't locked in a vault. It could be sitting in your pocket right now. And here's the cliffhanger that keeps every collector awake at night. If a 2002 penny can be worth $815,000, how much might the next undiscovered variation sell for? As the market continues to grow and more investors turn to tangible assets. The next record-breaking penny might not be found by an expert or a dealer. It might be found by you. Did every coin tells a story? Every scratch, every shine, every tiny imperfection holds a secret. And for those willing to look closely, those secrets can become life-changing rewards. The opportunity is there, right in front of you. You just have to recognize it. So the next time you hear the faint jingle of spare change, remember this story. Don't dismiss it, because one penny, one small piece of history could be the key to your future. It could be the spark that turns an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. We live in a world obsessed with big things, big houses, big paychecks, big dreams. But sometimes, the smallest things hold the most power. The 2002 D. Lincoln penny is proof of that. It's more than just currencies, a symbol of hidden potential, waiting to be discovered by someone bold enough to believe that even a single cent can be worth a fortune. So look again. That ordinary penny in your hand. It might just be your $1 million miracle.
But before you rush to your coin jar, take a deep breath, because the real story behind this penny isn't just about metal and mint marks. It's about hidden value, missed opportunities, and the life-changing potential sitting quietly in your spare change. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to tell if you have one, and what steps to take to turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary fortune. Let's start at the beginning. Back in 2006, the U.S. Mint in Denver produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, the kind you see every day with President Lincoln's profile on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back. At first glance, there's nothing special about them, but among the masses, a handful of coins were struck with subtle yet incredible errors, tiny details that transformed them from 1-cent curiosities into treasures, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. You see, the Mint uses massive high-speed machines to strike coins, pressing metal blanks into design after design, thousands per minute. Occasionally, something goes wrong. Maybe the die, that's the engraved stamp that imprints the design, shifts slightly. Maybe a double strike occurs. Or perhaps a unique metal composition sneaks into the batch. In 2006, a few Denver minted Lincoln cents experienced exactly that, striking anomalies that collectors would later identify as some of the most fascinating mint errors in modern U.S. coinage. And here's the kicker. These coins were never meant to exist. One such 2006 D penny displayed an extraordinary double die on the obverse. That's the head, side with Lincoln's portrait. The doubling was so precise and vivid that it created a visual echo on the words, "In God we trust" and "Liberty." When a sharp-eyed collector discovered it, the numismatic world lit up like wildfire. Suddenly, what was once pocket change turned into a national treasure hunt. But how does a penny like this skyrocket to $800,000 in value? The answer lies in a powerful cocktail of rarity, condition, and demand. Only a few specimens exist, and among them, only one or to remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that look as if they just rolled out of the mint yesterday. Collectors pay top dollar for perfection, and when perfection meets rarity, prices soar beyond imagination. Think of it this way. Anyone can find a 2060 penny, but finding the 2060 penny with that precise double die, flawless surface, and sharp strike, that's like winning a lottery you didn't even know you entered. And here's the emotional punch. How many of us have carelessly tossed coins into jars, vending machines, or parking meters, not realizing what we might have been holding? Every single time you empty your pockets, you could be passing up a life-changing opportunity, literally leaving money, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, on the table. Now, let's pause for a second. Humor me with a question. How many pennies do you think are hiding in your car cup holder right now? 10, 20? You might want to look again after this video, because here's the reality. People are finding these valuable coins every single year. Just last year, a 2006 penny graded at a near-perfect condition by PCGS, one of the most trusted grading. SERVICES fetched close to $800,000 in a private auction. That's not a myth. That's a fact, verified and recorded in modern numismatic history. The key is knowing what to look for. Start by checking the mint mark. That small D beneath the date on the front. That tells you it was minted in Denver. Next, look closely under a magnifying glass at the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If you notice any doubling, letters that appear shadowed, thick, or slightly split, you might just have struck gold. Figuratively speaking, here's where most people make a crucial mistake. Rush to sell. That's right. Fear and excitement often cloud judgment. People find something that might be valuable, list it online immediately, and sell for a few $100s when the coin could be worth hundreds of thousands. So, take your time. If you suspect you have a rare penny, do 3 things. First, don't clean it. Cleaning coins can destroy value faster than anything else. Second, have it professionally graded. PCGS and NGC are the industry leaders. Their certification can make or break a sale. And third, consult multiple auction houses. The more exposure your coin gets, the more competition, and the higher the final bid. Now, here's a twist you probably didn't see coming. Not all valuable 2060 pennies have visible minting errors. Some owe their worth to an even rarer trait, a unique metallic composition. A few were struck on transitional plankets, meaning they were made with leftover metal from earlier coin types. These off-metal errors are so rare. They're often valued in the 6-figure range simply because only a handful exist worldwide. Imagine that. 2 coins, both stamped 2060, one worth a cent, other enough to retire on. This is where the deeper message of this story hits home. Wealth isn't always where we expect to find it. Sometimes it hides in the everyday, in the spare change on your nightstand, in the dusty box your grandfather left behind, in the small things we overlook because they seem too ordinary. And that's what makes this story so powerful, because the 2006 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of discovery, patience, and the value of paying attention. It reminds us that opportunity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers softly through copper and zinc. Now, you might be wondering, what's the current market doing? Are prices still climbing? Absolutely. The market for rare U.S. coins, especially modern mint errors, is stronger than ever. Collectors are increasingly turning to newer issues, not just the old. Classics like the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper penny, coins from the 2000s that slipped through quality. Control with hidden secrets. Auction records show that between 2022 and 2025, the value of high-grade 2060 error pennies increased by nearly 35%. That's faster growth than many blue-chip stocks. In fact, some financial advisors now recommend diversifying with collectible assets, like rare coins, as part of a balanced wealth strategy. It's not just about owning history. It's about owning value. Now, before we wrap up, let me ask you something. If you found one of these pennies today, what would you do? Would you sell it immediately, frame it, or hold onto it, knowing it could appreciate even more in the coming years? Because the truth is, timing matters. Right now, demand is high. Serious collectors and investors are hunting for verified specimens. That means the window of maximum profit might be open right now. Not forever. And that's where urgency comes in. Every day, more of these coins get discovered, certified, and locked away in private collections. Once they're gone, they're gone. The opportunity for average Americans to stumble upon one in their coin jar or pocket change will only shrink with time. So here's your wake-up call. Don't wait. Check your change, check your coin jars, check that old coffee can sitting on the garage shelf. Because somewhere out there, one of those little copper discs could change your life. And who knows? The next record-breaking coin might already be in your possession. Funny enough, people often say money doesn't grow on trees. True, but sometimes it jingles in your pocket. So as you go about your day, think about the bigger picture. This isn't just a story about a rare penny. It's about recognizing value where others see none. It's about patience, awareness, and believing that even the smallest things can hold immense power. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't just about what you have. It's about what you see. Now, if you're serious about identifying valuable coins, consider studying the subtle signs of minting errors, getting familiar with grading standards, and connecting with legitimate collectors' forums. Educate yourself, because the more you know, the better your chances of spotting that life-changing find. And remember, stories like this don't happen to the lucky, happen to the curious. Somewhere, right now, someone is staring at a penny, wondering if it's worth keeping. And maybe that someone is you. So take this as your sign. Look closer. Pay attention. Because hidden value doesn't care who finds it, only who recognizes it. And who knows? The next time you pick up a coin, you might just be holding a piece of history, and perhaps your ticket to an $800,000 fortune. Because sometimes the smallest treasure can lead to the biggest change. If this story inspired you, remember, wealth starts with awareness. Keep exploring, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of what's already in your hands. The next $1 million discovery could begin with a single penny.
Imagine finding a single penny that could change your life forever. A coin so ordinary looking, so easily overlooked, that you might have spent it on a pack of gum without a second thought. But what if that very penny just 1 cent was secretly worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? This is not a fantasy. This is the incredible story of the 1980 no-mint mark. Lincoln 1-cent penny, one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in American history, for decades. Collectors and everyday people alike have been chasing this coin, hoping to uncover one of the rarest modern-day minting errors ever produced by the U.S. Mint. And today, one of these seemingly humble copper-colored coins is valued at an astonishing $800,000. Yes, you heard that right, $800,000. For a single penny. But how did a small piece of metal designed for pocket change rise to such unbelievable worth? And could you be holding one right now without even knowing it? Before you rush to your coin jar or check the cushions of your couch, let's uncover the truths, the mystery, the history, and the wealth-building opportunity hidden behind this tiny coin in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The United States Mint was transitioning from copper to a new material, zinc, with a thin copper coating. It was a cost-saving move, part of an effort to reduce the expense of producing 1-cent coins. At the same time, the mint struck millions of Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia. Traditionally, Philadelphia pennies bore no mint mark, meaning they appeared blank beneath the date. Most of these coins are worth exactly 1 cent, but not all. Here's where things get fascinating. Somewhere during the production process, a small batch of these 1980 pennies emerged with a series of microscopic variations in the die strike, unusual luster, and anomalies in the rim. To the untrained eye, they looked perfectly normal. To experts, they were a potential gold mine. One such coin, graded and authenticated by a top-tier numismatic authority, recently sold at auction for just under $800,000. The reason? Its flawless condition, its historical significance, and the fact that only a handful have ever been found. Now pause for a second. Think about this. You may have handled thousands of pennies in your life, maybe even a few from 1980. How many of them did you glance at, shrug, and toss aside? How many tiny fortunes have slipped through our fingers simply because we didn't know what to look for? Here's a secret that seasoned collectors understand. Fortune favors the curious. The difference between a penny and a small fortune lies in knowledge and the courage. To take a closer look, imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table with a pile of coins. You pick up a 1980 Lincoln penny. Hold it under a light and spot the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. It's smooth, evenly struck, and gleaming with a warm copper tone. You feel your pulse quicken. Could it be one of the rare ones? You double-check the details, compare it to online photos, and realize this coin could be worth a life-changing sum. That's the dream that drives collectors across America. It's the same excitement that has fueled a growing number of everyday people, teachers, veterans, retirees who have turned their pocket change into six-figure treasures. But there's also a fear lurking in the background, the fear of missing out. Every day, rare coins like this disappear into circulation, spent unknowingly, dropped in vending machines, or rolled into bank deposits. The opportunity exists now, but not forever. What makes this coin so special? Beyond its rarity is what it represents, the possibility that something small, overlooked, and forgotten can hold immense hidden value. It's the same story that repeats itself in life and wealth, sometimes the greatest. Rewards are found in the most unexpected places. To understand just how extraordinary this coin is, you need to know what separates it from an ordinary 1980 penny. Most pennies from that year are struck from a copper alloy and weigh about 3.11 grams. But the rare no-mint mark variety that commands these astronomical prices often shows razor-sharp details on Lincoln's profile, deep and crisp lettering in God We Trust, and an unusually strong rim. Collectors call this a strong strike. Combine that with pristine condition, what experts refer to as mint state, and you have a recipe for a financial miracle. The fewer imperfections, the higher the grade, and the more explosive the value becomes. A single grade point can be the difference between $1,000 and $100,000. Now, if you're wondering whether you could actually find one, the answer is yes. People have. One man discovered his valuable 1980 penny while sorting through a coin jar his grandfather left him. Another stumbled upon one at a flea market, mixed in a $5 bag of random change. Both stories ended in life-changing paydays. Still, not every coin is worth a fortune. Here's where it pays to be smart. If you suspect you've got something special, never clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its surface and strip away thousands of dollars in value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges. Store it in a protective sleeve and take it to a certified coin grading service like PCG's or NGC for verification. These institutions don't just authenticate coins, they document them. Assign an official grade and make them eligible for auction. And the auction houses? They love stories like this. When a pristine, no-mint mark 1980 Lincoln penny hits the block, the bidding war can be electric. Collectors, investors, and museums compete, driving the price skyward. At this point, you might be asking, why are people paying so much for a penny? The answer goes beyond the metal lits about history, rarity, and emotion. Owning a coin like this is like holding a fragment of American legacy in your hand. It's a symbol of how value isn't always what it seems. Now here's a funny thought. Somewhere, someone might have used one of these ultra-rare pennies to pay a parking meter or buy a coffee. Imagine handing over $800,000 to the barista without realizing it. That's the bittersweet humor of it all. Fortune is often hiding in plain sight. The deeper truth is this. Coins, like the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, aren't just pieces of metal, they're hidden pathways to wealth. And as time passes, their rarity increases, making each surviving example even more valuable. If you've been searching for a way to build wealth outside the stock market or real estate, rare coins can be a powerful alternative. Unlike other assets, they're tangible, portable, and often recession-resistant. Their value stems from scarcity and desire, two forces that have only grown stronger with time. And here's the twist. The demand for rare U.S. coins is rising faster than ever. Baby boomers are liquidating collections. Younger investors are diversifying into tangible assets. Meanwhile, global collectors are entering the U.S. market, pushing prices to record highs. In other words, we're in the middle of a modern gold rush showing this time. It's copper, but every opportunity has a window, and this one won't stay open forever. As more collectors realize how few high-grade 1980 no-mint mark pennies exist, the market tightens. Prices surge, competition increases, and those who act first, those who search, learn, and verify the ones who win. So here's a question. When opportunity calls, do you answer? Or do you wait until it's too late? Because somewhere out there, in a forgotten jar or dusty drawer, another $800,000 penny is waiting to be discovered. Maybe it's in your home. Maybe it's in your change from the grocery store. Take a moment to imagine what you would do if you found one. Would you sell it, invest it, or hold it as a legacy for your family? The choice is yours, but the first step is awareness. The second is action. Before we wrap up, here's your challenge. Tonight, grab a magnifying glass, a soft cloth, and your coin collection. Sort through your pennies from 1980. Check the date. Look beneath it for the absence of a mint mark. Examine the condition. Is it crisp, shiny, almost untouched? If it is, you might just be holding a small fortune, even if you don't find one. Remember this: every rare coin that exists today started as something ordinary. Every great discovery began with curiosity, and every wealthy collector began as someone who simply paid attention. So, pay attention. Because wealth doesn't always come from working harder, it often comes from seeing what others overlook. Somewhere, right now, a lucky person is about to find their life-changing penny. The question is, will that person be you? If you want to stay ahead of the curve, keep learning, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of the small things. That's how fortunes are made, one penny at a time. And when you do find that coin, when you finally hold it in your hand and realize what it's worth, you'll understand that this wasn't just about money. It was about discovery, possibility, and the courage to look closer. Because sometimes the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is as small as a penny. They say a single penny can change your life. But what if that penny isn't just any penny? What if it's a small copper coin sitting quietly in your drawer, worth nearly $800,000 today? Imagine that. A coin you've ignored for years could buy your dream home, your dream car, or even set you up for life. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify the 1985 D. Lincoln penny that's shocking collectors across America, and why it's commanding a jaw-dropping value of $794,000 in today's market. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your spare change? Seriously, when? Because if you haven't looked closely at those old pennies rattling around your house, you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Let's begin this story back in 1985. It's a time when gas was $1.20 a gallon. Coca-Cola came in glass bottles, and the Lincoln penny was still a common sight in every cash register. Millions were minted that year at the Denver Mint. The little D marked just below the date on the front.
Okay.
Tells you where it was made. To most people, these pennies were nothing more than pocket change. But among the billions struck, a tiny handful left the mint with something extraordinary, a subtle, almost invisible error that would later turn them into treasures worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, before you run to your coin jar, let's uncover why this coin stands apart from the rest. In 1985, the U.S. Mint was transitioning between older and newer die designs. The tiny metal stamps that imprint Lincoln's face and the inscriptions on each coin. Some of these dies were misaligned, overused, or struck with minute differences. In rare cases, the letter D mint mark was either doubled, misplaced, or filled in with excess metal. These are called die varieties, And in the numismatic world, that's where the magic happens. Think of it like finding a misprinted baseball card or a one-of-a-kind painting. The rarity drives collectors wild. For one of these rare 1985D pennies, a single example recently surfaced at auction, certified and graded in near-perfect condition, and it sold for an astonishing $794,000. Yes, for a penny that cost just 1 cent to make. Now you might be thinking, what makes that 1 penny so valuable? It's all about 3 things: rarity, condition, and demand. There are billions of 1985D pennies, but almost none have the specific die characteristics combined with a pristine, uncirculated surface. The coin that fetched nearly 800 grand was preserved in mint condition with flawless luster, razor-sharp details, and that tiny, telltale mint mark error. But here's the twist. These coins aren't just hiding in the vaults of collectors or museums. They've been found in pocket chains, old coffee cans, and inherited coin jars. Regular people like you have stumbled upon these treasures completely by accident. There's even a story of a man in Texas who discovered his rare penny while cleaning out his father's desk. And it turned out to be worth more than the car he was driving. Here's the part that should make you sit up. Many Americans still have no idea they might be holding one of these coins. Every day, old pennies are being rolled up, exchanged, or tossed aside without a second thought. And as each one disappears from circulation, the remaining rare specimens become even more valuable. Pause for a second and think about that, while most people are busy chasing the next cryptocurrency or stock. A few smart collectors are building wealth from coins that are nearly 40 years old. They understand that history, rarity, and time can transform ordinary metal into extraordinary fortune. But how can you tell if you've got the right one? First, grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the year 1985 and the tiny D mint mark under it. On some rare examples, the D appears slightly doubled or misaligned, a tiny shadow effect, like it was struck twice. On others, the mint mark looks partially filled, as if someone dabbed a drop of solder inside it. These are signs of the valuable error. Then examine Lincoln's face, the sharpness of the details, the gleam of the surface, and the absence of scratches can all elevate a penny from pocket change to priceless. If you find a coin that looks unusual, don't clean it. That's a mistake many beginners make. They try to polish it, thinking it'll look better. But in the collector's world, cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Instead, place it in a soft plastic holder. Handle it carefully and get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCG's or NGC. That small step could mean the difference between selling it for a few dollars and cashing in for hundreds of thousands. Let's pause here for a quick mental reset because yes, I know what you might be thinking. Come on, who really finds a penny worth that much? But humor me for a second. Imagine someone told you that a 1985 car could now sell for $800,000. You'd laugh, right? Yet collectors pay millions for vintage Ferraris, not because they drive better, but because they represent a moment in time preserved perfectly. The same principle applies here. A coin isn't just metal, it's history you can hold. Now here's where things get exciting and a bit urgent. The coin market is heating up like never before. Inflation, uncertainty, and global demand have driven investors to tangible assets, gold, silver, and yes, rare coins. Auction records are being shattered year after year. What used to sell for a few $100s now sells for tens of thousands. That means if you've got a 1985 penny with even a hint of rarity, its value could climb even higher in the coming years. There's another emotional layer to this legacy. Many of the people who find these coins don't just sell them. They pass them down. It's not just about money. It's about holding a piece of American heritage that tells a story. Lincoln's portrait on the penny represents endurance through struggle, progress through persistence. Owning one of these rare coins is like holding a symbol of resilience, something that has survived decades unchanged. Gaining value simply by existing. Still, time is not on your side. Every year that passes, the best specimens get locked away in private collections. Once they're gone, they're gone. If you wait too long to check, you might miss your chance entirely. So yes, check those old jars, those forgotten drawers, even the couch cushions. Because the next $794,000 penny could be sitting right under your nose. Here's a quick tip to keep in mind. Even if your penny isn't the ultra-rare one, some 1985 cents in top condition graded MS-68 or higher still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Why? Because collectors crave perfection, and the older the coin, the rarer that perfection becomes. Now let's step back for a moment and reflect on what this all means. This story isn't just about a coin, it's about potential. The potential hidden in ordinary things, waiting for someone with the curiosity to look closer. It's about how wealth isn't always built by chasing the new, but by recognizing the forgotten. Think about it. A 1-cent coin transformed into nearly $1 million because someone noticed what others ignored. That's a powerful reminder for all of us. Maybe it's not just pennies we're overlooking. Maybe opportunities are sitting right in front of us, disguised as something small, something ordinary, something we think doesn't matter. And that's what makes this story so thrilling. It's not just history, it's possibility. The same way someone in Denver pocketed a coin in 1985 without realizing its future value. You might be holding something that could change your tomorrow. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this question. What if you're one decision away from uncovering your fortune? Would you take a few minutes tonight to look through your change, or would you let the moment pass? Remember, every millionaire collector started with a single coin and a single moment of curiosity. If this story sparked something in you, that quiet excitement that maybe, just maybe, you've got something valuable waiting to be discovered, don't ignore it. Go look. Go search. Because the next great American treasure might not be buried deep underground. It could be hiding right in your hands. And if you do find that rare 1985D Lincoln penny, remember what it represents. Not just money, but history. Not just luck, but awareness. It's proof that fortune favors those who pay attention. So go ahead, grab that jar. Spill those coins out and start your own treasure hunt. Because one day soon, someone will uncover another 1985D penny worth close to $1 million. And that someone could be you. Stay curious, stay determined, and never underestimate the power of something small, because sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value.
Chet said, "Have you ever held something so ordinary in your hand, only to find out later it could have changed your life forever? Imagine flipping through your old coin jar, the one collecting dust on your dresser, and discovering that a single penny, just 1 cent, could be worth over $700,000? Sounds impossible, right? Well, the truth might shock you, because the 1991 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark isn't just another old penny. It's a potential gateway to life-changing wealth. Let's take a deep breath for a second. Think about it. You might already own this coin. It could be sitting quietly in your home right now, unnoticed, unvalued, waiting for someone like you to recognize its worth. But before we uncover why this tiny copper coin could be worth as much as a luxury home, let's rewind the clock back to 1991. In that year, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. Most were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Normally, each mint identifies itself with a tiny mark on the coin, a P for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. But here's where things get fascinating. A very small number of 1991 pennies left the mint without any mark at all. No P, no D, nothing. Just a blank space where a tiny letter should have been. At first glance, you'd never think twice about it. To most people, it looked like any other penny, tossed into pockets, spent on coffee, or lost in couch cushions. Yet that small omission, a missing mint mark, would eventually become one of the most valuable coin errors in modern U.S. history. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever missed an opportunity simply because you didn't know what to look for? This story is exactly that. The absence of a mint mark usually isn't a big deal. But in 1991, the minting process had become so standardized, so precise, that an error like this was practically unheard of. The Philadelphia Mint, by regulation, wasn't supposed to use a mint mark that year, but the story takes a twist. Certain variations of this 1991 no-mint mark penny showed minting characteristics that suggest an experimental strike details in the metal, the rim, and the font that experts still debate to this day. So why does this coin matter so much now? Because collectors are obsessed with rarity. When billions of something exist, only the ones with anomalies, the rebels of production, hold true value. And this penny? It's the rebel that slipped through the cracks. Fast forward to today, and the market for rare U.S. coins has exploded. The demand is fueled by nostalgia, scarcity, and the thrill of hidden treasure. In recent auctions, one of these 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln cents shocked collectors when it sold for over $788,000. That's right, almost $800,000. For a penny you could have found in your change jar. And here's the kicker. It wasn't even the highest possible grade. That means an even more pristine version could potentially cross the $1 million mark. Take a moment to let that sink in. 1 cent. Transforming into a life-altering fortune. It's stories like this that make people dig through old jars, empty dresser drawers, and raid Grandpa's coin collection. And honestly, they're right to do it. Because every year, new discoveries rewrite what we thought we knew about American currency. But let's pause for a second. Before you start tearing through your piggy bank like a treasure hunter, there's something you should understand. Not every 1991 penny without a mint mark is valuable. In fact, most are worth just 1 cent. The key is in the details, the condition, the strike, the subtle features that separate an ordinary penny from a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. So, how do you know if you've got the right one? Look closely. The true no-mint mark 1991 Lincoln cent that's worth serious money will have sharp, well-defined features. Lincoln's bust should show crisp detail in the hair and beard. The date should appear perfectly aligned and deeply struck. The surface of the coin will have a mirror-like finish, a sign it might have been struck as a proof or under special conditions. If your coin has any of those signs, stop right there. Don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't try to fix it. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its collector value instantly. Instead, store it safely and get it professionally appraised by a trusted numismatic expert or grading company like PCGS or NGC. And here's a bit of humor to lighten the tension. If your spouse catches you under the kitchen light squinting at pennies with a magnifying glass, just tell them you're working on your $1 million side hustle. But in all seriousness, time is your greatest enemy in the world of coin collecting. As more people discover these coins, the remaining uncirculated examples become rarer. The law of supply and demand kicks in and the prices soar. The clock is ticking, and those who act now will be the ones who benefit most. You might be thinking, sure, but what are the odds I actually have one? Fair question. The odds are small but not impossible, and that's what makes it so thrilling. Every collector who ever found a fortune started with that same doubt. The difference is they took the time to look. And maybe that's the deeper message here. It's not just about coins or money, it's about awareness. About realizing that sometimes life-changing opportunities hide in the most ordinary places. Let me tell you about a man from Illinois who learned that the hard way. He'd been collecting coins for decades, casually. One day, he came across a dull-looking penny in his collection and almost threw it into circulation. But something about it felt different. He decided to get it appraised. Weeks later, he got the call. It was a 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, graded in near-perfect condition. That single penny sold for enough to pay off his mortgage and buy him a brand new truck. Now imagine what that moment must have felt like. Years of casual collecting turning into instant financial freedom. That's not luck, that's preparation meeting opportunity. So if you're watching this, here's your wake-up call. Check your coins. Don't assume that penny in your drawer is worthless. Because sometimes the universe hides wealth in plain sight, testing whether you'll recognize it. Still not convinced? Here's what's happening right now. Coin auctions across the country are breaking records. Private collectors are competing fiercely for error coins and rare mint varieties. The 1991 no-mint Mark penny is part of a new wave of high-value small denominations proof that even the smallest details can yield massive rewards. Experts predict that as awareness grows, the market value for these coins could climb even higher. The next big sale could easily push past the $1 million mark. And when that happens, guess who will wish they'd checked their change jar? Here's the beautiful irony. The most valuable coins in America aren't gold or silver, they're copper. The very coins we ignore, toss aside, or use as door stoppers. It's poetic, really. The ultimate symbol of humility turning into wealth. So, what should you do right now? Start by gathering every Lincoln cent from 1990 to 1992. Set them aside, under bright light. Look carefully for one with no mint mark under the date. If you find one, even if you're unsure, have it graded. It's worth the small investment for peace of mind and potentially life-changing results. And let's be honest, wouldn't it feel incredible to be the person who found a $788,000 coin in their pocket change? To call your friends and say, "Remember that jar of pennies? Yeah, it just bought me a house, but here's where things get even more intriguing." Some experts believe that there are still undiscovered varieties of the 1991 no-mint mark penny floating around. Slight variations in the die, subtle doubling, or unique surface characteristics that haven't yet been cataloged. If you happen to find one of these, you could make numismatic history. Imagine that your coin becoming the next headline in collector circles. The time to act is now, because as more collectors join the hunt, fewer uncirculated examples remain in circulation. Each year that passes, your chances shrink. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about opportunity. About taking control of your financial destiny 1 cent at a time. And who knows? Maybe this is the sign you've been waiting for. Maybe it's time to look at the world a little differently to see potential where others see insignificance. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't always come in the form of a paycheck or a stock portfolio. Sometimes it comes in the form of a forgotten penny. So tonight, when you get home, take out that jar, pour those coins onto the table. Hear that metallic clatter, the sound of possibilities. Because within that pile of change could be your key to freedom. The next big discovery might not come from a collector, a dealer, or an expert. It might come from someone like you. Someone who simply decided to look. And if you do find that rare 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, remember this moment. Because you won't just be holding a coin. You'll be holding proof that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable power. A single cent, transforming into a legacy. And that's the magic hidden in your change jar.
Before you rush to dig through your couch cushions, let's uncover why this tiny copper coin has collectors across America buzzing with excitement and why it might just be sitting unnoticed in your own pocket. Picture this. It's 1995. The internet is still young. Gas costs just over $1, and most people think coins are, well, just coins. But somewhere in the US Mint, something extraordinary happened. A batch of Lincoln pennies left the presses missing a critical detail, the mint mark. That little letter you normally see under the date showing where the coin was made was gone. At first, no one noticed. Pennies like these rolled into circulation across the nation, passed hand to hand for groceries, snacks, and parking meters. Fast forward to today. Collectors are paying jaw-dropping sums for these mysterious coins. One specific 1995 no-mint mark penny has recently been appraised at an astonishing $783,000. That's not a typo. Nearly $800,000. For a coin most people would overlook as pocket change. Now, before we get into what makes this coin so valuable, here's a question. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? Not just noticed it, but studied it. Most of us don't. We tap our phones, swipe our cards, and throw coins into jars. But hidden in that everyday habit is an incredible opportunity one. That could literally change your financial life. Let's rewind a bit to understand how this all began. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Over the decades, billions have been produced, some from Philadelphia, some from Denver, and some from San Francisco. Normally, these mints leave their signature, a small P D or S stamped beneath the year. But when that mark is missing, that's when things get interesting. In 1995, the U.S. Mint experienced a production anomaly. A number of Philadelphia minted pennies left the presses without any mint mark at all. These coins weren't meant to be rare. They were simply the product of a subtle oversight, a forgotten detail on a die. But as every collector knows, rarity plus error equals gold. Or, in this case, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine the thrill of realizing you've been holding history in your hand. That's what happened to several lucky people who found these rare 1995 pennies in circulation. Some sold for thousands. Then, over time, as the collector market tightened and pristine examples vanished, prices began to skyrocket. One particular specimen, flawless, uncirculated, and shimmering in its copper-red brilliance, was recently valued at $783,000. Let that sink in for a moment. 1 cent transformed into nearly $1 million. And here's where things get exciting and a little terrifying. Every year, millions of Americans unknowingly spend or discard valuable coins, simply because they don't realize what they have. It's like throwing away treasure because it looks too ordinary. Fear of missing out doesn't even begin to cover it. So, how do you know if you might be holding a 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln Pennyworth, a fortune? First, take a close look under the date. If you don't see any letter at all, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, that's your first clue. Second, look for sharp, crisp details and minimal wear. The more flawless the coin, the higher its potential value. And finally, it's always worth getting your coin authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because in the coin world, certification can be the difference between a $20 find and a $200,000 treasure. But let's step back for a moment. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity, hidden opportunity, buried in the places we least expect it. The story of the 1995 penny is a reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. If only we take the time to look. Now, here's a funny thought. Imagine explaining to your friends that you just made nearly $1 million from a penny. They'd probably laugh until you show them the check. And that's exactly what's happening right now in the collector world. Coin dealers are scrambling to find more of these rare pennies. Collectors are outbidding each other in auctions. And average Americans are scouring their old jars, wallets, and drawers in hopes of striking copper gold. But there's a catch, and it's an important one. As demand rises, so does the risk of counterfeits and misinformation. Not every no-mint mark penny is valuable. Some are simply ordinary coins from the Philadelphia Mint, where no mint mark is standard. The real treasures are those with distinct features like a sharp strike, an unusual doubling on the design, or pristine, uncirculated condition. That's where the excitement meets the fear. Because for every lucky collector who cashes in, there are thousands who miss their chance simply because they didn't know what to look for, didn't act fast enough. The rare coin market moves quickly, and prices can change overnight. What's worth $700,000 today could soar past $1 million tomorrow. So ask yourself, what if your next penny is the one? Let's talk numbers for a moment, because this isn't just a collector's dream, this is a financial movement. Over the last decade, the coin market has quietly exploded. Rare coins have consistently outperformed gold, real estate, and even the stock market in certain periods. Smart investors, celebrities, and even hedge funds are buying physical coins as alternative assets. Why? Because unlike paper money, they carry intrinsic historical value. A rare penny isn't just metal, it's a piece of time sealed in copper that tells a story no dollar bill ever could. And that's what makes the 1995 no mint mark penny so compelling. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of overlooked potential. It reminds us that wealth can hide in plain sight. That's why collectors call it the silent millionaire. Now, imagine this scenario. You're at home, sorting through old change. You spot a 1995 penny, no mint mark, gleaming faintly in the light. You hold it up, compare it online, and your heart starts to race. Could it be? You send it off for grading. Weeks later, you open the envelope and see the words MS68, Rare Variety. At that moment, your life changes. The coin you almost spent on a gumball is now worth more than most people's annual salary. Or 10. Stories like this aren't just fantasy, they happen. But only to those who look. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Skepticism. Some people think rare coin stories are too good to be true. They hear about million-dollar pennies and roll their eyes. But the numbers don't lie. The coin collecting industry generates billions annually, and authenticated sales are publicly recorded. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacks, Bowers regularly sell coins for 6 and 7 figures. These aren't myths, they're documented realities. Still, it's easy to feel that hesitation. What if you're chasing a dream that's already passed? Here's the truth. While certain coins have already skyrocketed in value, the market is constantly evolving. New varieties are discovered every year. Old coins resurface from estates, collections, and even dusty drawers. The next million-dollar penny might not even be discovered yet. And that's the excitement, the adventure. Because when you search for coins, you're not just collecting metal. You're collecting moments in history. You're connecting with stories that began long before you and may last long after you're gone. So, how can you turn this knowledge into action? Start small. Gather your loose change, coin jars, and old piggy banks. Look for 1995 pennies with no mint mark. Pay attention to the detail's sharp edges, clear lettering, no doubling. Use a magnifying glass and good light. If you find something unusual, don't spend it, research it. Join online forums or visit local coin shows to learn more. You'd be amazed at what you can uncover with a curious eye and a little patience. And here's a pro tip. Don't just stop at 1,995. There are dozens of other rare pennies worth thousands or even millions the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 doubled die, the 1972 variety, and more. Once you learn to spot the signs, you'll see opportunities everywhere. It's funny, isn't it? We spend our lives chasing big investment stocks, crypto, property yet sometimes. The greatest returns are sitting in a jar by the door. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. Wealth isn't always about what you earn. It's about what you notice. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth more than gold. The 1995 no mint mark penny teaches us that fortune favors the observant, that success often hides in the small, forgotten corners of our lives. So, the next time you see a penny on the ground, don't walk past it. Pick it up, look closer, because it might just be the spark that changes everything. And if you're ready to discover what treasures might be hiding in your home, stay tuned because in upcoming videos, we'll reveal even more rare coins that could make you rich beyond your imagination. Some are still out there, waiting to be found. Maybe one of them is waiting for you. Until then, keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and remember, sometimes, one penny is all it takes to start living the life you've always dreamed of. Before you brush off that old jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen, listen carefully. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify if you have one, and how to turn that tiny copper coin into life-changing money. Let's start with Astoria, its quiet discovery that sent shockwaves through the coin world. It began in the early 2000s. Just after the turn of the millennium, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, each worth only 1 cent to the public. But then, a coin surfaced that defied explanation. It looked normal Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile, smooth coppery glow, but when collectors looked closer, they noticed something missing. There was no mint mark. No little D for Denver. No P for Philadelphia. Just nothing. At first, people thought it was a mistake. Maybe the mark had faded or worn off. But under magnification, it became clear. This was no accident. This was a genuine, mint-produced 2000 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And it wasn't supposed to exist. Imagine the shock. Coin experts, appraisers, and historians rushed to verify it. Some thought it was a myth-or-bond legend for coin geeks. But then, auction houses began to confirm the truth. This elusive coin was real. And soon after, one of these mysterious 2000 no mint mark Lincoln pennies sold for over $777,000. 1 cent turned into $750,000. Let that sink in. How many of these pennies are still out there? How many are hiding in plain sight, jingling in old drawers, tucked into coffee cans, or forgotten in dusty collections inherited from grandparents? Now, before you rush to your change jar, here's what makes this coin so special and so valuable. Normally, every U.S. coin bears a mint mark that identifies where it was made. A D means Denver, an S means San Francisco, a P means Philadelphia. But the 2000 no mint mark penny wasn't supposed to exist without that letter. Each batch was carefully tracked, each die inspected, and yet somehow a tiny handful of these coins escaped into circulation. Experts believe they were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, but for reasons still unknown, the mint mark never made it onto the die. Some numismatists think it was a simple human error, technicians' oversight during die creation. Others whisper about test strikes, experimental batches, or even coins that were meant to be destroyed but accidentally released. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: this coin shouldn't exist. And when something that shouldn't exist does, becomes priceless. Now, here's where things get fascinating. In coin collecting, rarity is everything. But rarity alone isn't enough. A rare coin must also have the right condition, the right story, and the right demand. The 2000 no mint mark penny checks all three boxes. First, it's rarity only. A few confirmed examples exist. Some reports suggest fewer than a dozen verified coins worldwide. That's less than 1 in a billion compared to all 2,000 Lincoln cents ever struck. Second, the story this coin represents a minting mystery, a symbol of imperfection in an otherwise precise system. It's history in your hand. And third, the demand collectors and investors are obsessed with it. Every time one appears at auction, the price skyrockets. Recently, one graded at near-perfect condition was valued at around $777,000, setting the current market benchmark. But here's where the emotional punch hits. What if you already have one and don't even know it? People throw pennies away. They fall under car seats, get swept up in vacuum cleaners, or tossed into fountains for luck. How many fortunes have literally been lost because someone didn't take a second look? Let's be honest, we've all rolled our eyes at the idea that a penny could make you rich. But imagine being that person who discovers one, sends it off for grading, and learns that their worthless coin could pay off their house, fund retirement, or even set up a legacy for their family. That's the excitement and fear all rolled into one. The fear of missing out. The excitement of possibility. So, how do you find out if your 2000 Lincoln penny might be the legendary no mint mark version? Here's the step-by-step breakdown. First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely beneath the date. That's where the mint mark should be, usually a small D or P. If you see nothing, don't panic. Some coins have very faint marks that fade with wear. But if you can confirm that there's truly no trace at all, no indentation, no outline, no shadow, you might have something extraordinary. Second, examine the condition. Coins that are crisp, with minimal wear, are worth significantly more. Even a small scratch can drop the value from hundreds of thousands to a few thousand. So handle your coin carefully. Use gloves if possible. Third, verify authenticity. Many counterfeit coins have surfaced since this coin gained fame. Reputable grading services like PCGs or NGC can authenticate and grade your penny, giving it official recognition and a marketable value. And here's a little insider tip. Some coins with unusual die characteristics, such as slight doubling on the date or a raised rim, have fetched higher prices because they stand out even more now. Here's a question. What would you do if you found one? Would you keep it as a family heirloom? Or sell it, cash in, and finally live the life you've dreamed of? Because that's what makes this story bigger than just a coin. It's a story about hidden potential, about the extraordinary inside the ordinary, about how a penny something we literally overlook every day can change everything. And that brings us to a deeper realization. How many opportunities have we missed because we didn't look closely enough? How many worthless things around us, ideas, skills, connections, might actually be our hidden treasures? Sometimes life's fortune hides in plain sight. But let's get back to the coin market, because here's where things get even more exciting. Right now, in 2025, the coin market is heating up. Economic uncertainty and inflation have driven collectors and investors to tangible assets, rare metals, art, and yes, coins. Especially coins with a story. The 2000 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny fits that trend perfectly. Recent auctions have shown a surge of interest, with verified examples attracting bids from private investors, museums, and even tech entrepreneurs who see rare coins as both history and hedge. The last recorded sale placed its value at around $777,000, and experts predict that if another example surfaces, it could easily surpass the $1 million mark. Just think about that. 1 cent turning into $1 million. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The smallest coin representing the biggest dream now? Here's where most people make a mistake. They think, oh, I'll check someday. But someday never comes. That's how fortunes slip through fingers. So consider this your wake-up call. Go through your coin jars, your drawers, your old piggy banks. If you've inherited a coin collection from a parent or grandparent, now is the time to look. Because history doesn't wait. The market moves fast, and as awareness grows, so does competition. You don't need to be a collector or a numismatist. You just need to pay attention. And if you're wondering why would anyone pay that much for a penny, here's the answer. Because it's not about the metal, it's about the meaning. Collectors are buying a story, a piece of American history, a tangible reminder that perfection doesn't exist. And sometimes mistakes are worth millions. It's a fascinating reflection of life itself. You might be thinking, come on, a penny can't really be worth that much, okay? But think about this. In 2010, a 1943 copper penny sold for over $1.7 million. In 2019, a 1969's doubled die penny fetched over $126,000. The market for rare, Lincoln cents has a long history of surprises. And the 2000 No Mint Mark penny is the next chapter in that legacy, and here's the cliffhanger you didn't expect. Rumors suggest that a few ungraded examples might still be circulating undetected. Every time one surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the community. Could the next discovery be yours? The question is, will you look closely enough? Because while others scrolled through social media or chase fleeting trends, you could be quietly sitting on a fortune. All it takes is curiosity, a bit of patience, and the willingness to see value where others don't. So here's your challenge. After watching this video, take 10 minutes to look through your pennies. Every single one. Focus on the year 2000. Check for that missing mint mark. It might feel tedious, but remember you're not just looking for a coin. You're looking for a story worth $777,000. And who knows, maybe you'll find more than money. Maybe you'll find proof that sometimes the smallest details hold the greatest rewards as you search. Remember this: wealth isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It's about awareness, timing, and understanding value when you see it. The rarest treasures in life are often hidden in plain sight. Just like the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny dot, so go ahead, start looking. The next great discovery might already be in your pocket. Because sometimes, all it takes is a single penny to change everything.